What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at Full Metal Jacket, directed by Stanley Kubrick. Now, I'm going to make this review as short as I possibly can. Full Metal Jacket is an excellent movie. I think this is a great commentary on the dehumanization of human beings into trained killers. And we get that perspective from the United States Marines. And Kubrick pretty much gives us his interpretation on war, and especially the Vietnam War, and how and what that psychologically did to people. And one of the main things I love about this movie is how it's divided into two halves. We get the first half that takes place on Paris Island, and we get the second half that takes place in Vietnam itself. And this movie is told mostly through the eyes of the character of Joker, played by Matthew Modine, in a really good performance. However, the first half of this movie focuses solely on Vincent D'Onofrio's character of Gomer Pyle and the R. Lee Ermey character as Sergeant Hartman, the drill instructor. And the first half of this movie is outstanding. It plays out to me like it plays out like a black comedy in a way. R. Lee Ermey's performance as Hartman is iconic. It's memorable, and it's downright hilarious. Vincent D'Onofrio's performance as Gomer Pyle, he puts on a great performance as Gomer Pyle. D'Onofrio pretty much has to carry the first half of this movie on his shoulders, and he does a phenomenal job playing the dim-witted Gomer Pyle, and we slowly see his de-evolution to insanity, because Gomer's entire time in the Marines, he gets abused. He gets abused to the point where it's just sickening. Hartman verbally abuses him. His own squad, his own platoon, they abuse him too by attacking him at night when he's sleeping. And then, of course, it eventually leads to Gomer just snapping and shooting Hartman and shooting himself. And like I said, the entire first half of the movie is done brilliantly. Excellent performances by D'Onofrio and R. Lee Ermey. They steal the show in the first half of this movie. And now, when we get to the second half of this movie, is where we explore Vietnam itself, and we see what's happening in Vietnam itself, and we see the soldiers in Vietnam and how they're letting that environment get to them. You know, we get characters like Animal Mother, who is just completely off the reservation. He's just born to kill. We get Joker, who is pretty much a journalist who is observing everything through his. We see everything through his eyes. We see what he sees, and he sees this destruction and this chaos, and he's seeing just the dehumanization of all these people in war, and how they have little regard for anybody. And I thought Stanley Kubrick did a great job at presenting that on screen with his screenplay. Phenomenal stuff. From a production standpoint, this movie looks fantastic. It's got that it's got a realistic look to it. Stanley Kubrick does not shy away at all from the violence, especially near the end of the movie, where one of the characters is being shot to death by a sniper. Actually, the sniper takes out multiple members of the squadron, but the one who got it the most was 8 Ball. 8 Ball got cut up horribly. Same thing with another character called Doc J, and the character of Cowboy, who's actually a good friend of Joker. They're on Paris Island together, training in the Marines. So yeah, all that stuff is well handled. The ending of this movie is just so suspense ridden. It's just like edge of your seat when it's revealed that the sniper was just a little girl, and they had to kill this little girl because she was killing off all the men. And you just see like the chaos and the destruction, what war does to you. It, like this movie was going for, it dehumanizes you. It turns a human being into a flat out monster. Another scene that expresses that. We have the scene where Joker and his friend Raptor Man are in this helicopter, and they're talking to this guy, and as they're interviewing this man, he's just shooting people casually, just without cause, shooting anyone. And his expression is this: if they stand still, they're a Viet Cong. If they're not moving, if they're running, they're Viet Cong. It's what the Vietnam War did to people is completely just inhumane and inhuman. It pretty much turned people into vicious killing machines, and it screwed them up psychologically as well. And like I said, to me, Full Metal Jacket does a fantastic job at putting that all on screen. So yeah, Full Metal Jacket for me is a solid 10 out of 10. I love this movie. This movie is fantastic. This is one of my favorite war movies. And if you have not seen Full Metal Jacket in a long time, you gotta watch this movie. It is that good. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I will check you back next time for more.